Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, still a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge, which is, I believe, in the last year, so it is do or die. I did say more than once that I was keeping winning the Stanley Cup for the last year for dramatic effect, so yeah, yeah. All right. So I chose my lineup, so we're gonna take a look at that. Not a whole lot of surprises there. So I'm gonna keep Edberg and Abibulin in net. Sadly, Abibulin is still only a two-star goaltender, so I got shafted, prior to the previous season, and it has not reverted. On D, I'm keeping Gonchar. I decided to keep Niklas Avlid over Brian Allen. We'll see how that goes. Boris Mironov, Francis Bouillon, Rob Blake, Teppo Numanen, and Brian Rafalski on D, so my D's pretty solid. And then up front, I have Kozlov, Varlamov, Naslund, Kitchuk, Smith, Anzus, Nilanda, Shestlevy, Streka Sundin, Guérin, Tanguay, Young, and Peltonen, which is pretty solid as well. Oh, I lost Stan Niskash on waivers. That's fine. And Vili Peltonen is about to be recovered. That's good. Yeah, I know. I saw the email that I got about it. I do read my emails. Some people don't, but I do read mine. Alright, and now, a bunch of players on waivers. So, Lee Goran, Drake Berehowski, Martin Stepanek, Mike Wilson, Alexander Yudin, and Smokey Reddick. Drake Berehowski is not necessarily better than what I already have, so I'm not going to claim him. I'm going to need to pass him through waivers anyway if I do, so... So let's move on. Alright, so it's the start of the regular season, and Alexander Kuvaldin has been put on waivers by the Sabres. Alright, so Steve Guola was suspended in Boston. He's going to miss 5 games. Nice start to the season for him. Alright, so it is officially the start of the regular season for us. We're going to be starting at home against the New York Islanders. So let's take a look and see what the Islanders look like. Alright, so in net it's Fred Brathwaite and Tommy Sello. On D they have Brandon Smith, Martin Ludeman, Upsut Spacek, Kiprusov, and Regier. Yeah, that D is not very good. Up front they have Aaron Gavey, Martin Gelina, Steve Thomas, Lubina, Arkins, Fitzgerald, Bunk, Niedermeyer, Savard, Taylor, Turgeon, McInnes, Palfi, Zveshkowski, and Oli Jokinen. I don't think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs with that team. There's a couple nice pieces for sure, but overall the team looks a little weak to me. Alright, so this is who we are going with for the first game of the season. So we're going to have Matt Sundin with Ryan Smith and Bill Guerin, Martin Straka with Keith Kitchuk and Alex Tanguay, Michael Anzus with Marcus Neslin and Vili Peltonen, and Mikael Nylander with Vyacheslav Kozlov and Scott Young. On D, I'm going to have Gonchar playing with Rob Blake, Boris Mironov with Rafalski, and Francis Bouillon with Teppo Numanen. The Islanders are going to go with Fred Brathwaite in net. We are going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. It is the start of a new season, so of course, go Lightning, go! And we won the first game of the season 2-1. Oh, it was. They gave a shot at it. We outshot the Islanders 41-35, so it wasn't as lopsided as I thought that it might be. Alex Tanguay was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist, so that was his first NHL goal in his first NHL game. That's pretty impressive. Fred Brathwaite was the second star with 39 saves, and Marty McInnes was a third star with a goal. We had 14,251 people in attendance for the game. Right, so nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, Ryan Smith scored on the power play from Matt Sundin and Alex Tanguay. It was 1-0, but before the end of the second period, the Islanders tied the game, and it was 1-1 after 2. Then in the third period, with 42 seconds left to go in the game, Alex Tanguay scored his first NHL goal in quite dramatic fashion there from Bill Guerin and Sergei Gonchar. It was a 2-1 win. So yeah, late third period heroics for Alex Tanguay's first NHL goal in his first game. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. A night to remember for Peter Bondra. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Kings. And Magnus Arvidsson is back from suspension in LA. Back in the lineup over there. Alright, so Ravil Gusmanov is available on waivers, and so is Mark Bergevin, former Tampa Bay Lightning. Mark Bergevin is available. I'm not going to pick him up. Eric Rasmussen is injured in Ottawa. He's going to miss 4 months with a torn back muscle. That must hurt. I only have a displaced rib right now, and it hurts like hell, so I cannot imagine a torn back muscle. Yes, that's right, folks. ARG is presenting you with a video, and I am afflicted with a day-to-day injury to my ribs. Alright, we are about to host the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks are 1-1 this season. Let's take a look at their lineup. Alright, so John Van Beesbrook and his failed country album is in net, along with Francois Gravel, Jason Cullimore, Brian Muir, Gerald Deduck is still there, Rich Pilon, Curtis Crashtins, Richard Schmelik on D. That D is not very good, folks. Not very good. Up front, they have Robert Cron, Luke Robitaille, Sergei Samsonov, Glenn Metropolit, Peter Nedved may or may not play. He's hurt. Mike Pekka, Dennis Peterson, Cliff Running, Mike Fisher, Chris Draper, Trevor Linden, Bob Probert, Jean-Pierre Dumont, Vaclav Varada, and Radek Dvorak. So yeah, looks like all of the talent is up front in Vancouver. It's offense first over there. Right, so John Van Beesbrook is going to be in net for the Canucks, and we are going with Johan Edberg, so it looks like we might be alternating goaltenders again this season. And we lost 2-1 in overtime, so we are 1-1 on the season. We outshot the Canucks 45-31. I mean, even then, that's not that bad of a game for Johan Edberg. 29 saves, that's very respectable. Cliff Running was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Martin Straka was the second star with an assist as well. And John Van Beesbrook was the third star with 44 saves. 15,290 people in attendance for the game. So we did score first. It was a Bill Guerin power play goal from Marcus Naslund and Martin Straka. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Nobody scored in the second period, although we did get a fight between Keith Tkachuk and Bob Probert. Then in the third period, the Canucks tied the game, and it went in overtime where Radek Dvorak scored on the power play, and he was the hero during a Brian Rafalski penalty. Keith Tkachuk is injured. I guess he got hurt fighting Bob Probert. Got a beating, maybe. Oh, dear God, 3 to 4 months. Of course, of course. He has a torn flexor tendon and he's out for 4 months. Oh my god. Then there's been a trade between the Islanders and the Thrashers. Steve Thomas and a 6th round draft pick go to the Thrashers for Curtis Brown. That's an interesting trade. Alright, that sucks. I lost one of my favorite players on my team for most of the season. Which means that I am going to recall Niklas Agman. Alright, so we have 4 days off, and then we're going to play in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Mike Modano scored his 300th goal in his career. He had a goal and an assist against Toronto. Mike Modano is 30 and still a 4-star player. And I need to give a number to Niklas Agman, who wants number 27, of course. You end up with 25 instead. Alright, a few more days off. Good night for Jere Lehtinen. He had 4 goals against Carolina. That's a pretty good game indeed. And Mike Modano had 4 assists in that same game. Also a pretty good night at the office. Ethan Morrow is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Steve Yzerman scored his 600th goal in his career. He had a goal against Edmonton. Steve Yzerman is 35 and still a 4-star player. Adam Oates has played in 1,000 games in his career. No points for Adam Oates in his 1,000 game. That was against Anaheim. Adam Oates is 38 and he is still a 4-star player. Vitaly Vishnevsky has been suspended in Colorado. He's going to miss 1 game. Alright, so we are in Pittsburgh to play against the Penguins. They are 2-0. They are 3rd in the East with that record. No injuries in Pittsburgh. So in net, it's going to be Rossetti and Jean-Sébastien Aubin. Then on D, they have Martin Sturbeck, Yuri Fisher, Pavel Kubina, Alexei Gusarov, Jamie Ewart, Ian Moran, Larry Murphy, Robert Zvilla, and Jensen. Up front, it's Dopita, McEachern, Tsiplakov, Francis, Bobby Eldick, Lemieux, Smith, Jagger, Siernik, Greer, Nielsen, and Stacy Roost. Yeah, there's still talent in Pittsburgh. They're going to be tough. Right, first road game of the season. We're going to have Nikolai Abibulin in net for it. Jean-Sébastien Aubin is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. And we won 4-1. Nice game. Good game by Abibulin. So we outshot Pittsburgh 34-31. Vyacheslav Kozlov was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Niklas Avlid was the second star with an assist. And Vili Peltonen was the third star with an assist as well. Bill Guerin opened up the scoring in the first. It was a power play goal from Sergei Gonchar. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Alex Tanguay scored on the power play from Brian Rafalski and Ryan Smith. 2-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then in the third period, Vyacheslav Kozlov scored from Vili Peltonen and Michael Lanzus. Then Pittsburgh scored, made it 3-1. And then finally Teppo Numminen scored from Niklas Avlid and Vyacheslav Kozlov. It was a 4-1 victory for the Lightning. Alright, good game for Abibulin. Pretty happy with that one against a pretty good team. Right, Vitaly Vishnevsky's suspension ended. He is back in the lineup in Colorado. Ray Bourque played in 1,500 games. That happened against San Jose. No point for Ray Bourque. He is 39 and still a 4.5-star player. And Steve Guola is back in the lineup in Boston. Alright, so we are about to host the Atlanta Thrashers. They are 0-2 this season. That's good for dead last in the East. They are the only team still without a point this season. Let's take a look at them. They just traded for Steve Thomas. Alright, so they have Ron Tugnut and Roman Turek in net. Then on D they have Daniel Jarnquist. I can never know how to say that name. Yerky Lume, Lilo Deline, Darius Kasparidis, Kusera, Scott Stevens, and Schmil. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Up front, it's Jan Lavach, Derek King, Sean Pudding, Vinny Prospol, Steve Thomas. I believe that would be Kip or Kevin Miller. Kip Miller, Sean Van Aden, Puker Bure, Conroy, Williams, Verbeek, Westland, and Robb. Let's see if we can beat the Thrashers. We are back at home, by the way. Alright, so Ron Tugnut is going to be in net for Atlanta. We are going back to Johannesburg, who played decently in his first game, but still got the loss. And we won that one 5-3. Alright. Oh, we tripled Atlanta in shots 60-20. Rob Blake was the first of the game. He had 2 assists. Lubos Rob was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Martin Streka was the third star with 2 assists. 14,209 people in attendance for this game. Bill Guerin yet again scored the first goal of the game, 7 seconds in. From Rob Blake, it was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then Atlanta scored twice, and then Alex Tanguay scored his third of the season from Rob Blake and Martin Streka to tie the game at 2 before the end of the first. So we added up into the second period tied at 2, and Atlanta took a 3-2 lead, but then Ryan Smith scored from Peter Shaslevy and Matt Sundin, tied at 3 after 2. Then Matt Sundin scored the game winner from Brian Rafalski and Bill Guerin, and then Marcus Naslund added an insurance marker from Teppo Numminen and Martin Straka. It was a 5-3 victory for the Lightning. There was no stopping Theo Fleury, who had a hat-trick against the Red Wings. We haven't heard much about Theo Fleury lately. He's still there, obviously. Alright, so we have a couple days off, and then we're going to start a 4-game road trip that starts in Minnesota, so we're going to be facing an expansion team. Alright, so Ethan Morrow is back from suspension, back in the lineup in Edmonton, and then there's been a trade between Nashville and Atlanta. So Lucio Topati goes to Atlanta and Yerky Lume goes to Nashville. Okay. Alright, playing the Wild. Let's see how they built their team. Is it the Wild that took Steve Ruchin, or is it Columbus? I don't remember. One of them took Jovanovski, the other one took Steve Ruchin. Okay. Alright, so Minnesota has Roman Cechmanek and Kevin Weeks in it. Then on D they have Greg DeVries, Eric Messier, Marcus Ragnarsson, Brett Lebda, Keith Carney, Sean O'Donnell, Craig Rivet, who is hurt and won't play, and Peter Svoboda and Yerofayev. Up front, it's Bartechko, Juno, Yakmenev, Umberger, Bates, Walls, Kucharchik, Koreshkov, Whitfield, Brunette, Korolev, and Ramoser. So I don't know where the player they took went. Or, oh, maybe the same team got 2. I guess that's possible. It shouldn't be, but I mean, I don't see any of my former players in that lineup. Anyway, so the Wild is 2-2-1. So pretty decent 500 record. All right, so we're gonna go with Nikolai Abibulin in net. They are going with Kevin Weeks. And we won 6-3. Abibulin was not very good, but it didn't matter for that particular game. We outshot Minnesota 50-13. Sergei Gonchar was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Boris Mironov was the second star with a goal, and Vyacheslav Kozlov was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so we scored 3 unanswered goals in the first period. Boris Mironov scored from Matt Sundin and Sergei Gonchar. Then Sergei Gonchar scored on the power play from Bill Guerin. Then Vyacheslav Kozlov from Vili Peltonen and Sergei Gonchar. 3-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, the Wild scored twice, made it 3-2 Tampa Bay. Then the Wild actually tied the game early in the third period with a third goal, made it 3-3, but then we scored 3 unanswered. Michael Lanza scored from Vyacheslav Kozlov, then Sergei Gonchar from Martin Straka, and finally Rob Blake scored in an empty net from Niklas Agman and Mikael Nylander. 6-3, the final score. Mario Lemieux has a strong game. He had 3 goals and an assist against Carolina. Prolific passing night for Theo Fleury, who had 4 assists against the Canucks. Oh, pretty good season so far for Fleury. And Brendan Marson keeps fans on their feet all night. He had 3 goals and an assist in that same game against Vancouver. Brendan Marson is with Calgary. Alright, so the next game is in a couple of days, and we're going to play against the team that eliminated us in the first round last year, the Devils. Blake Sloan is not suspended in St. Louis. He gets to stay in the lineup. Memorable game for Joe Nieuwendyk, who had a hat-trick against Boston. Chris Simon is suspended in Colorado. He's going to miss 4 games. And Joe Sakic set everything up tonight in that same game. He had 4 assists against the Florida Panthers. Alright, so the Devils are 3-1-1, and they are 6th in the East with that record. Let's see if they change quite a bit compared to what we face in the playoffs. Martin Brodeur and Thomas Vokoun on in net. On D, they have Brad Bombardier, Roman Amerlik, Todd Reardon, Chris Phillips, Tommy Albaline, Scott Niedermayer, Matt Strigg, and Bikov. Up front, they have Bozon, Friesen, Zelipukin, Kapanen, Gold, Jean Fiel, Sikar Lemieux, John McLean, Stefan Richer, Brian Rolston, and Litvinenko. All right. We're going back to Johannesburg for that game. Martin Brodeur is going to be in net for the Devils. And we won 7-3. Take that, Martin Brodeur. We outshot the Devils 55-36. Matt Sundin was the first star of the game. He had 4 assists. Bill Guerin was the second star with 2 goals and 2 assists. And Boris Mironov was the third star with a goal. So yet again, Bill Guerin scored the first goal of the game from Rob Blake and Matt Sundin. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then the Devils scored twice. So they were up 2-1, but then we scored 2 more goals. Markus Naslund scored on the power play from Sergei Gonchar and Matt Sundin, and then he scored on the power play again from Martin Straka and Bill Guerin. 3-2 Tampa Bay after 1. The second period, Boris Mironov scored from Bill Guerin and Matt Sundin. Then Bill Guerin scored his 5th from Teppo Numminen and Matt Sundin. And then Brian Rafalski from Sergei Varlamov. It was 6-2 at that point. Then the Devils scored a goal, made it 6-3. And then in the third period, we added 1 more goal on the power play from Teppo Numminen. On the power play, it was Ryan Smith. I'm not sure if I said it. Assisted by Teppo Numminen and Mikael Nylander, it was 7-3, and that was the final score in that one. Great night for Matt Sundin, as we saw. He had 4 assists. That's pretty good. Suspension for Dan Biasma with San Jose. He's going to miss 1 game. Brian Marchment is injured in Nashville. He's going to miss 4 months with a torn UCL. And Atlanta is offering us Jeremy Yablonski for Peter Shaslivy. I'm going to say no. There you go. Alright, and we are now in New York to play against the Rangers. Rangers are 2-3 so far this season. That's good for 12th in the East. Alex Kovalev is still recovering from that injury that we saw last season, a ruptured disc in his back, so he's gonna miss this game. Alright, so the Rangers have Brent Cran and Mike Richter in net. On D, they have Eric Kearns, Brian Fogarty, Brett Edekin, Brian Leach, Matthias Timander, Matushkin, Curtis Lesishin, Sergei Zubov, Stefan Robida. Anderson, Mikael Anderson is still trudging along in the NHL. Then Pete Jackson, Adam Graves, Mark Messier, Chris Ferraro, Josef Mara, Doug Waite, Jochen Esch, Tony Amante, Mark Mowers, Martin Prochanska, and Chris Nielsen up front. Not as good a team, but still some pretty solid players. Can do a lot worse than Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov as your 1-2 punch for your first 2 defensemen. Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for this game. He's going to be facing Brent Cran. And we lost this game 4-1. The Rangers outshot us 35-28. Brian Leach was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Tony Amante was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Sergei Zubov was the third star with 2 assists. Nobody scored in the first, but we had a fight between Brian Leach and Boris Mironov. Then in the second period, the Blue Shirts scored twice, made it 2-0 Rangers after 2. There was another fight in the second period between Eric Kearns and Bill Guerin. Then finally in the third period, the Rangers scored, made it 3-0. Then Martin Straka scored on the power play from Sergei Gonchar and Bill Guerin. It was 3-1 Rangers at that point, and then the Rangers added 1 more goal, made it 4-1, and that's how we lost this game. And Ryan Smith is injured. Alright. Oh, he's only day to day. Okay, well, for 1 to 2 weeks, but yeah, that's not too bad. With a bruised wrist, Brian Leach got his 900th point in his career against us. He had a goal and 2 assists in that game. Leach is 32 and still a 5-star defenseman. And Mark Messier got his 1000th assist against us. He is 39 and a 3.5-star player. And Darcy Tucker has a memorable game with the Oilers. He had a hat-trick against Phoenix. Alright, we have 2 days off, and then we're going to play in Detroit against the Red Wings. Dan Bilesma is back from suspension in San Jose. Alright, so we are in Detroit to play the Red Wings. They are 7-2, so pretty good record. They won't be easy, that's for sure. Alright, no big injury over there. Byron Dafoe and Shabanov are going to be in net for Detroit. Francis Cabardi, Nick Lidstrom, Dick Tarnstrom, Bhutan Sean, Finley, Joseph, Pusher, Salo, and Skopinsa. I believe we played them in preseason. Then Dowd, Green, Groshek, Salinger, Nimanen, Fedorov, Primo, Iserman, Drake, Lapointe, Shepard, and Aino up front. Yeah, we played the Red Wings in preseason. That lineup sounds too fresh to me. Yeah, we did, and we tied 3-3 against them. So now we're going to be playing them in the regular season in Detroit. We're going to go with Abby Bulin in net. The Red Wings are going to go with Sergei Shabanov. And we won this game 4-1. All right, so we just beat a pretty good team. We outshot Detroit 36-27. Vyacheslav Kozlov was the first star against his former team. He had a goal. Rob Blake was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Vili Peltonen was the third star with 2 assists. Matt Sundin opened up the scoring in the first period from Rob Blake and Vili Peltonen. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Rob Blake scored from Niklas Agman, and Vili Peltonen made it 2-0, and then the Wings scored to make it 2-1 after 2. Then in the third period, Alex Tanguay scored on the power play from Mikael Nylander, and then Kozlov scored in an empty net from Teppo Numminen. 4-1 the final score. Nice game in Detroit here. Oh, Dick Tarnstrom is suspended after that game. I'm not sure what he did, but he got 7 games for it. And Shane Doan is not suspended in Carolina. Alright, so we already have only 2 games left here in October. October is always a lighter month. Alright, Nolan Pratt in Colorado is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. That's a lot of games. And we're going to be hosting the Ottawa Senators here. Ottawa is 5-1-2. That's good for second in the East. So the Sens have turned out to be a pretty good team as well. I like that. Alright, so Pavel Demitra is still hurt with that concussion that he suffered. I believe that was like right at the start of the playoffs for the Sens. And then as we saw, Eric Rasmussen has a torn back muscle, so he's out for a while as well. So those 2 won't play. Alright, so Bruce Rassin and Mika Kiprusov in net for Ottawa. Chris Pronger, Andrei Markov, Hans Janssen, Patrick Travers, Sean Brown, Tony Ludman, and Brent Sopel on D. Jamie Langenbrunner, Jan Erdina, Gerard Scaldi, Sylvain Turgeon is still there. Simon Gagné, Chris Gratton, Robert Lang, Andrei Nikolishin, Denis Harkipov, Jody L, Selivanov, Novoseltsev, and Shane Willis up front for the Sens. Wow, they kept Sylvain Turgeon this entire time. This entire time, Sylvain Turgeon played for the Sens, like, since I started this. $59, $51, $27, $43, $17, $27, $7, $7. Alright. Was just curious to see how well he did. Alright. Let's see if we can beat the Sens. They are going to go with Mika Kiprusov in net. We are going with Johan Hedberg. And we lost 4-1. We were outshot 27-23 in that game. Robert Lang was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Jamie Langenbrunner was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Joe Dial was the third star with an assist. 15,469 people in attendance for this game. We actually scored first in that one. Markus Naslund scored from Matt Sundin and Teppo Numminen. It was 1-0, but before the end of the period, the Sens tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then the Sens scored twice in the second period, made it 3-1 Ottawa after 2. And then Chris Pronger scored in the third to make it 4-1. That's how this game ended. We lost. Vadim Shakraichuk is hurt with the Flames. He's going to miss 5 months with a torn back muscle. Ouch. Those seem popular this month. I don't want one. I don't mind not being trendy. Claude Lemieux has recorded 1,000 games in his career. Celebrated that with a goal against Pittsburgh. Claude Lemieux is 35 and still a 3-star player. Brett Hull is suspended. He's going to miss 1 game. No miss time for St. Louis Kyle McLaren, so not suspended over there. No suspension for Ian LaPerriere either. Wow, so those two guys got looked at and none of them got a suspension. Brettel is back from suspension. And red light stays on for Joey Juneau playing in Minnesota. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Chicago Blackhawks. Alright, one more day off, and then we're going to be playing against the Carolina Hurricanes. Chris Simon is back from suspension in Colorado. Alright, and Ryan Smith is starting to feel better. And we are about to play against the Hurricanes. Hurricanes are 3-7. That's good for 13 in the East. We have not played them this season. Alright, so in net they have Chris Osgood and Simchuk. On D, it's Janne Lakanen, Peter Popovich, Eric Weinrich, who's hurt, may or may not play. Zardy Zalewski, Brian McCabe, Oleg Davidovsky, Chris Bartolone, and Karel Rakunek. Up front, they have Patrick Marleau, Daniel Zubros, Frederick Modine, Peter Schaefer, Petrovicki, Knudsen, Johnson, Sanderson, Aubin, Castles, Doan, Mark Gregg, and Darren McCarty. Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us for this game. Konstantin Simchuk is going to be in net for Carolina. And we won 3-2 in overtime. Alright, so we outshot Carolina 35-15 in that one. Marcus Naslund was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Ryan Johnson was the second star with a goal, and Matt Sundin was the second star with 2 assists. Bill Guerin, once again, is the one to score the first goal of the game. Well, that has happened quite a bit this month. That was assisted by Matt Sundin and Marcus Naslund. 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then Brian Rafalski scored on the power play in the second period from Alex Tanguay. It was 2-0. Then Carolina scored twice before the end of the period. It was tied at 2 after 2. Nobody scored in the third period, and then Marcus Naslund was the overtime hero with his 5th of the season from Matt Sundin and Rob Blake. 3-2, the final score in overtime. And Vili Peltonen is hurt. Because why not? 3 weeks, okay, that's not too terrible, I suppose. Peter Chesley converts to left wing. I guess I'm going to get Samuelson up. All right. Alright, memorable game for Pavel Bure. He had a hat-trick against Columbus. Brettel played in 1,000 games in his career, didn't get a point. That happened against Nashville. Brettel is 36 and a 2.5 star player. Ryan Smith feeling better. And the players of the month were Brian Leach and Dominik Hasek. Alright. Alright, so standings-wise, we are 3rd in the East with 14 points. Washington is our closest pursuant in the division. They have 11 points, but they played 2 more games than we did. Alright, let's take a look in the West. Oh, Atlanta's not very good. They only have 3 points. In the West, we have Calgary that's first. Theo Fleury's been playing really well. Dallas, Detroit, San Jose, Edmonton, Vancouver, Los Angeles, and Anaheim. Alright. And St. Louis and Atlanta are the 2 worst. Actually, St. Louis is worse. They played 3 more games. Although they did win a game, and Atlanta didn't win any. Alright. Let's take a look at our stats. Did we get a point per game player? I'm not sure. Maybe Matt Sundin. Maybe Bill Guerin. He's been playing pretty good too. Yeah, Bill Guerin and Matt Sundin. Look at me. 12 points, both of them, in 10 games. Then we have Gonchar with 8 points in 10 games, and then it just goes down from there. But yeah. Cool, we have 2 point per game. We have 2 players that are point per games. Now in the league, the best goal scorer is Theo Fleury. He has 10 goals already. Joe Sakic is the best passer with 17 assists, and the best scorer is Sakic with 20 points. We don't have anybody there. And I don't think we're going to have anybody in the goalie leaders either. Especially since we've been kind of alternating goaltenders, so we're not getting enough stats in. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the month of October 2000. We are going to stop here for today. So as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video and you would like to help support me and my channel, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.